Okay, hi YouTube, it's Kabaya Murioto. So like the greatest thing that literally I have to drop is this. So I'm really excited to tell you about this Baka and test project I have for me and Sabo. So how did I think about this? So I want to let you guys know the insecurity I have that I recently started to get over because of my appraisal for Son Schimmel and many other writers that I'm really getting better at writing. And the reason why is because when I ended up in a group home, I was desperate to lose my virginity one time. So like literally I lost my virginity and then I ended up at a group home, and literally I realized that literally that girls aren't really as challenging as facing competitions, because there's a way to fool a girl, not just through seducing, but a girl can fall in love with flashy things like a good wardrobe, but like literally because I realized everything on the outside stepped up, but all my motivation like as a rapper and stuff like that, like literally I worked for this hip hop company where I showed them I could beat them with one line, but I didn't want to because I didn't want to become a rapper because I already had a very comfortable flow going on. I got famous for making A&Bs to them, but also they offered me a musical contract, but I'm like, nah, not like, at least not right now, because what I'm saying, losing my virginity didn't freaking give me encourage me to rap. It didn't inspire me to rap at all. In fact, I had low energy, but I had better results because I was already famous. It gave me low motivation, fucking to do little things. So what I was doing is instead of, doing a lot of shit, like I was listening to podcasts like Geekdom 101 and Mr. Enter and, Swag Calgate. And so ever since the group home, instead of trying to get hoes, my new goal in life was I want to be just like them. I want to be elaborate when I speak just like them. I want to go into depth about the series just like them. I want to literally sound just like them. I want to be exactly just like them, and they are literally a big literally. So what this is how I evolved as a person, how me and Sabo evolved over time, like how me and him have different personalities. So let's go into me and Sabo. Who was Sabo? Sabo was my arch rival in the ARO, while I was actually his rival junior because he had a rivalry with somebody already who had the same mindset as me, but was a little bit more technical, lyrical, and a bigger Nonz-matic. He actually knew what bars were. I know what bars are subconsciously. If you don't know what subconscious is like how you train somebody, like it's a routine. Subconscious is a routine with muscle memory. And fucking it's crazy as fuck. Like Yu-Gi-Oh is in my subconscious because all I do shit with is like anime. So like I'm naturally in that like anime state of mind. So like that's what subconscious is. So basically what me and Sabo is, like, Sabo is a bigger nerd than me, and he always was because he actually read the fairy tale manga, and literally I was just the anime fanatic making A&Vs and shit where he actually goes into detail about power scaling in Dragon Ball Z, like part 1 Kami, Dragon Ball, stuff like that, and literally he talks about like literally how Dragon Ball literally how they can like destroy the moon, and how Naruto it took over like 15 years in order for like Naruto to catch up to Dragon Ball Z. He really goes in depth. So he's a full anime fan and out, plays Final Fantasy. While I've never been able to own like a Game Boy or fucking Dreamcast, I wasn't able to own all that. But I was strictly PlayStation and Tekkaichi and Sly Cooper, and that's all that matters and shit. But you gotta understand, those games have way more lore, way more fucking content, way more like actual like mythical references that are universally beneficial. That's like basically reading Marvel comics versus Lord of the Rings, The Hunger Games, Harry Potter, etc. That's the big difference. Fucking he plays Smash, he's regional on Smash and stuff like that, and I could never own a Smash game. And the first time I came over to my auntie Nina's house, I lost a meal too, and I started crying. She's like, "It's okay, you don't know how to play a game." I'm like, "I still lost a meal too." So that's the difference between me and Sabo. So me and Sabo had a really good rap battle where I was Jalal from Fairy Tail and like he was Rob Lucci from One Piece. If you don't know, Jalal is a felon in his show and Rob Lucci is a government hitman in One Piece. So literally, and I just realized that over time. That's the laws of the universe, by the way. So like, it's fucking crazy. We had a really good battle, and Sabo won by a little bit, but like he exaggerated the fuck out of the battle when it came to editing and shit like that. That's why I have the full version on my channel. So fucking like I have the full version of our battle. Fuck, I already linked the Bayside beats. So like fucking. So what this is criticism that I've dealt with. This is my favorite project in Nonz. Like as far as the one I'm most hyped for, because of course I'm hyped for it's the up and coming, the predecessor of it. I feel like it's obviously gonna be like the key focal point of like the Nonz movies. So at the same time, fucking like you can't stop this concept. That one is obviously gonna be fucking super compared to this one, but this one is way more mature. So these guys are based off, me and Sabo are based off that one episode of Teen Titans with the gorilla and the lightning guy are on the bridge. And so I'm going to be that yellow lightning dude, and Sabo is going to be the blue gorilla for the Bayside story. So why did I pick Bayside? So I'm known for picking like characters that really have drip that lack substance. I add substance to the drip, and like really, I'm known for that. I'm known for like really, yo, I wish this character had more relevance like Rogata. I wish like Bardock was more relevant in Dragon Ball Z. Like really, I'm known for that. So like really, so really what this is this is everything I knew because I always wanted to like, you know, be a player. But once I realized like really how childish girls can be and how I had to really have discipline and had to really practice on what I wanted to do and how really freaking there were no rules with girls. It was basically like a yes or no thing over time. You'll get what I'm saying, like, you know, fucking and the thing about it is, this really, really inspired me. How I changed as a person, how I changed my life goal, how I changed, like, and they added on to my writing capability. They added on to my writing capability because you listening to podcasts, you do that. That all helps with your subconscious. That helps you be more sophisticated, and that's why Sabo was above me in the era a little bit. But you know, if I went 100%, he'll still be like you know, maybe a good 15% ahead of me if I go all out. So fucking that, I'm just talking about in general because like really fucking crazy. So what happened was I went really, really good for our debut, and he really has a troll-like style. Sabo is an actual troll in life. So I left off on a good note on Sabo in the chat. He understood I had word of mouth, so he posted a Sabo meme, like, you know, where you know, an Iron Gauntlet, letting me know that yeah, he fucked with Nonz, yeah, he fucked with this, that, yeah, he already talked to Christopher Sabat, fuck Stone. So Sabo's already on my side. I don't know about anything. I heard Philly may be on my side, fucking, and you know, Philly may get his own character in Nonz, a fucking jazz player, fucking, because there are music players in Nonz. Philly might get a jazz player, but that's for another time. So this is, you know, freaking, the reason why I chose this, you know, theme for the movie was because of Baka and Test. So Baka and Test, Bayside, you know, all have to do with, you know, a freaking inner dimension, like a digital world. They all have to do with a digital world. So this is really the Baka and Test project, like really the fucking Raka and Mess. So Raka and Mesh, like, so what's going on is this, that one episode of Teen Titans where they have like the ninja element dudes, like literally this and that, where Raven's fucking them up and shit. So like literally it's crazy as fuck. So like so the blue guy's gotta be Sabo, like we're gonna go crazy. So how this all started off, so let me go into why I chose Bayside and why I chose this for entry for this movie was because I was known for not taking constructive criticism, yet literally I trained in the hyperbolic time chamber for years listening to our animation critic. So that's literally how I changed over time. And so this is literally what I lack and what Sabo has heavily over me as a continuity, how he actually reads manga and how I spaz it up, how I always watch dub anime and how he subbed all the time. Like, get what I'm saying? He's an actual, you know, full-on nerd. Like, I'm a nerd that tried to adapt and lost about the nerd life, but I'm not 100%, you know, like that. I know how to hack programs, I know how to do certain shit, but I don't know how to hack people in general. But, you know, I hack for my personal interest, you know, so, it's crazy. So what this is, so Bayside was a cartoon that Mr. Entry reviewed that really I thought was really, really whack at first. I feel like lacked substance, but then he went to the history of Bayside and how it was a disappointment. So like really, I'm taking the concept of how I add, you know, substance to style, and like literally, and how Mr. Entry literally criticized something where a really good theme song. Because I know my brother used to always criticize me, Eris, you have to actually watch the fucking show. You can't dislike it because of the fucking theme song. Yeah, my brother was Brewer following me in junior high. That shit was hella funny. No, but in all seriousness, that's the reason why I had to let go of AMVs for a while and actually learn how to soul size. Because as fun as AMVs are beautiful, but you have to watch something with a script. Because if not, then you're basically watching pure retardation. It's like literally you're just on screen watching shit that, yeah, they're beautiful and stuff like that. Like, but at the same time, you have to understand there's no script to an AMV, and there's a script to a show. And after I listened to Geeked On Everyone, I realized like after they made me so mature that I was able to watch part 1 Naruto again. I watched it. It was actually pretty fucking fire. You get what I'm saying? So like rewatching something, I'm like, why would I watch something I already watched? And then I realized once you get older, once you rewatch something, like literally that's a part of script and writing, like literally replay value and everything, like things that you don't catch, like literally. And I learned that over time. I'm like, oh my gosh, so, like literally, that's what Sabo already knows that I don't. Like through reading books, and I didn't know about that when I first like joined, you know, the era. I didn't know anything about the anime community. I didn't know what non-canon was. Like literally, I thought everything was cool. I knew I know what filler was, but I didn't know what canon was. So like basically that messed me up. So like so Sabo is like all out. So me and him are really fucking this shit up. So like literally, this is all about how I used to not be able to take constructive criticism, and how I did nothing but become a critic of my own animation, and how I heavily criticize each and every character before I make a design. Literally, this is really how I changed as a person. How I went from somebody like somebody who really does his own thing to somebody who's really critiques of the continuity when it comes to shows, and that's why I'm able to make great concepts today, because I understand how to break shit down and recognize the flaws of something, because really I didn't sell for the same thing forever. I put two and two together. Like, I wasn't arrogant. When I heard that Superman can control your cells, I'm like, okay, well then Goku can't win, but I still like Goku better. And that's the difference between like a lot of fucking people fucking saying like, yeah, if he can control your cells, I don't see Goku winning that. But this is another thing that freaking later on, fucking, I heard maybe Goku, now that we have Super, may be able to take him now, but I had no clue. And I do freaking the crazy thing about this is like I adapted to that over time, but I still kept my own fucking style and shit. But I didn't like read manga, but that's the thing I hope this. So this is all about, the Digital Universe and Wayside. So like Wayside was a show that Mr. Enter was actually excited for, and he told me that it was a disappointment. And Wayside had a really good theme song, and how my brother kept on criticizing me about how I should pay attention to the show and not the theme song is really what I felt about while listening to Wayside. I saw the guy, I'm like, dude, this is nothing I haven't seen before. This is a whack ass cartoon. But then Mr. Enter went into detail on how the books were actually original, and how like literally how the books were like literally way better, and how the show was a disappointment. And so I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take that concept, because it does have a good theme song. I'm going to give substance to that theme song. And so what I'm doing is I'm adding aspects from an anime called Baka and Test. So if you haven't watched Baka and Test, Baka and Test is basically really about two guys who share an apartment. Not really share an apartment, but it's about like some junior high school kids like literally that are in a digital world, that have digital avatars and shit. They're in the real world, but like when they enter this fucking computer program, they have their own avatar and they fight each other and shit. So Baka and Test is really good, but it's a gag, it's a slice of life anime. But what I learned about it over time is, don't think that like, let's cut this out. This is personal for me and Sabo. So there's this tall guy, like Sabo is Dominican in real life, so that's why he sounds hella funny. But like, so like there's this guy in Baka and Test with like, that's tall, skinny, with red hair, and there's this little kid that really the main character with brown hair that's hella short. And I'm thinking about that. I'm like, no, it can't be. But there's this dude doing hella nigga shit in that anime. They're doing hella fucking nigga shit in that anime. Like they're fighting over a pizza pieces, shit like that in that anime. I'm like, no, this can't be. I was watching it high, and you have to be an OG to figure this shit out. I'm like, they can't be talking about me and fucking Sabo. There is no fucking way that they put me and Sabo in this fucking show, because this is exactly how me and him interact. This is exactly how me and him operate. So Baka and Test, like really freaking is really a really good show. It's a slept on anime because it's a slice of life anime, but I'll give you a hint. It specifically was made for me when I got older. No, don't count that as an Easter egg. It's a good also. It's basically like Darling in the Franxx. That's how much of an original concept it is. It's just like Bakugan, Beyblade, wherever. Like it's its own continuity. Baka and Test is really dope. What it is, it's a probably slice of life anime to like a digital world, and like really at times. So this is what I'm doing. I'm fusing the Baka and Test, universe, like the way I was thinking, and I'm fusing it with Wayside, because Wayside is a school that transforms and like morphs in different shapes and stuff like that, that takes you on a trip. So we're fusing Baka and Test with Wayside for this Nonz project, and the stars are going to be me and Sabo as the two, element brothers from Teen Titans, the yellow one, the blue one, with the blue gorilla with the beanie. So we're gonna be a star. So like that is the plot. So that is where all this origin came from. So like literally, this is taking everything that I that I used to create and making fun out of what I used to be criticized about, on how I changed, like literally, and how everything. But this is a really monumental project, because I wasn't in the continuity and stuff like that. I was into things like fan shipping and AMVs, and that's the difference between like an anime fan and an actual real anime fan. Because Sabo was being a real anime fan, because the problem with shipping and fan art, there's not a problem today, but the big problem is that's a mental condition. I'm putting it out. Like, it may not be a mental condition, but you doing ships like freaking Naohina, Saku, making AMVs, that I was all into that shit. But like, literally, you have to realize that literally you're fucking with something that's not natural, and like literally you're doing something that's literally in your own little world. This is not the writer's intention, and you're trying to make it the writer's intention. That's why you get lost in your own little world and stuff like that. And literally, like, and you can't get the same ships in your precious fan art that you can in real life. I was there. I've been there, done that. I used to love a Deviant Ant car. I used to literally have Deviant Ant, like Deviant Ant, freaking talks to Stephanie and shit. So like literally, I used to be a Deviant Ant freak. I used to look up like little shit like that, like Ed, Eddie, Full Metal Alchemist, literally fan art. I used to be a real big weeb, dude. and literally what I do is I change over time. And the problem with that is you have to realize that you're alone. You have to realize that nobody is supporting your statement, and that's the biggest problem with fan art and being the anime fan that I was. Like literally, any beast of that with Sabo, where you're literally getting down to a continuity, like, oh, Dragon Ball had a better story than Dragon Ball Z. When you go into shit like that, there's guaranteed. Now it may be full of shit, it's hit and miss. I think it's really, really good when it's done right. Like Geekdom, you know, Sprat Kage, I think they're all done right. So like literally, what it is they're guaranteed feedbacks, and one of the most important things in life is not only making sure you're right, but people are there to back up your statement. You don't want to literally like be a Martin Luther King and literally get shot down. Not actually shot, but like literally not even like literally paid attention to. You don't want to pull a Stangelica. You don't ever want to do that in real life, because literally you want to make sure that you have, you know, the tools to support your dream and the tools to support like your vision. So that's why I did over time. I dropped it, and then I gained the tools to support my vision over time. You get what I'm saying? So like, this is all about how I improved as a person, how Sabo literally had a revelation. So me and him are just fucking around talking shit like Damon and Bobby Law in this fucking movie. And so Gabaya is in this movie, you know, fucking. So the main villain of this movie is Special Edward. Special Edward is based off my friend Arturo and his favorite, you know, my friend Robert, and his favorite anime is Fullmetal Alchemist. So Special Edward's ability is to control chalk. He's like Rudy from Chalk Zone. So like really, but he's Special Ed, like he creates like chalk figures, chalk monsters, you know, chalk, you know, other stuff like that. So he's stuck in the Wayside universe. So me, you know, Gabaya, Yumi Neji, and everyone, this introduces the meme users because it's a miscellaneous fucking, you know, universe that turns upside and down. So me and Sabo open a fuck up Wayside, because if you watch Wayside, you watch Baka and Test, which you will. I'm gonna link in the description, everything you need to know. But this is the most exciting Nonz project, because this is literally literature on top of literature about literally becoming, you know, how I became a critic instead of somebody, you know, who couldn't take constructive criticism. How I learned how to meet Sabo in his own way. How I learned how to be like a nerd done correctly by doing nothing but playing video games done right. Like literally exploring every single possibility in a fighting game, like how you're supposed to when society didn't give me shit. Like literally, this is literally how I learned how to be a nerd done right, and that's why I'm adding Mr. Enter. You know, Mr. Enter's gonna be there. Mr. Enter's his own character, Nonz. He's the detective of Nonz. I don't know what his name yet. I'll probably like have somebody talk to Mr. Enter about that. But you know, besides that, figure this is why I'm so excited for the Baka and Test project, because this is really what I lacked in life and what I gained over time. What Sabo had that I lacked, this is what we both lack, and that this is how we both play out of each other. This is why this is the perfect. So Special Edward is really a try-hard gangster shit, just like my friend Robert was in real life. So he creates chalk figures, but he's a special ed. He's like, this, that. So he's fucking. So when he creates it, it's like it's hit and miss and shit. It's like but like literally, and he's like, bruh, you just got chalked. He doesn't say bruh, but like literally, you know how you chalk somebody in real life, like literally after you kill them and you go chalk, like literally, this is slang tone on the street, saying bruh, you got chalked. So Special Edward is literally his appearance in this movie is literally him doing hella funny shit, and literally, and then acting gangster. Like nigga, you almost killed us. Like me and Sabo, like bro, slow down, little dude. Like literally, it's like he's so like, you just got chalked, and like. So me, Sabo, and you know, Special Edward are about to fuck up this Wayside movie. So what they're doing is that they get caught up in the Wayside world. You know, Wayside is a school that literally goes up and down. It's like a different fucking form. It takes you up and down like a fucking school. It's a bending school. And so Baka and Test is a digital world. So they get stuck in a bending environment. It's gonna be like a pure white room, but there's gonna be like hella fucking colorful bouncing balls around, like hella mini game shit. They get stuck and Gabaya and fucking the crew's there. So this is where Yumi Neji and all of them get their chance to sign, because this is where I can use the meme users / aesthetic users, you know, the aesthetic illusion users. This is all based on fucking memes and pop culture shit, but it's based off of characters with a really strong base and really loyal to society. Like, you know, Yumi Neji represents, like, you know, how Mexicans view anime, like how Mexicans will literally have Japanese. It gets subbed in Japan before it goes to America. You know that? So fucking, and Mexicans are the ones who are uploading Naruto AMVs in Espanol. It's like literally fucking, that is who Yumi, that's her outer exterior, like literally, she's really calm, cool, collect, and rugged, just like you would envision her. Literally, that's one of the characteristics she has. Like, so literally fucking, she's gonna star in this. Fucking Yumi Neji, maybe Baku Blackstar, maybe, but definitely fucking everybody else in the main cast. So let me go into like why Brisket is a part of Corona 11. So Sotie and Kama and all that, that's a part of my original writing process that's outside of Funimation. That's outside Funimation's influence. You know, I went on a brain blast because I got the confirmation. So what I did was I created Skittles to make sure I had the base for an original character, and then I added a whole bunch of other shit. So like really, so I keep on critiquing that other shit, and I'm really trying to make sure like it doesn't, you know, separate from the continuity every single time. I'm working hard to make sure these characters aren't out of line. Like, you know, the crazy thing about that is this, you know, so this is where they all like really, all these ideas can come into play. So like really, so Kama, Sortier, you know, Jume, that's all upon the original aspect of Nonz. So if these characters that you think are like are maybe doing too much, that is why Sean wanted to create Nonz ×1, was to create canon characters like in filler timelines with canon events. That is what Nonz ×1 is. It's basically everything you want, like fillers with canon substance. Like literally, that is what like literally fucking like literally the events, like certain things that like adapt over time, you know. So like literally fucking that is literally why Sean wants to separate the series in order to make this all blend out, in order for them to get their shine, because I think he may want them to be background characters in the first one, or if not. So you get what I'm saying? So this is a really heavy confirmation. This is me, Sabo, you know, freaking Mr. Enter, all these internet, everything I learned from the internet online, how I loved and how I kept on improving my craft over time. So I didn't, you know, freaking how I literally became really so analytical and so like little dialectical in character. You want to have an Easter egg? Okay, I'll give you an Easter egg. I was showing Uncle David my 1010 video about why 1010 is my favorite female in Naruto, and even Uncle David understood. He's like, man, you're really getting into depth about that character. You're kicking ass, man. So this is the Baka and Test project. The start of all, you know, of the freaking, you know, the Beyblade users, like where they're all be able to come into play. They might not be able to come into play in this one. They may be for, you know, its predecessor, like the next one that's really big, that's up there with the other Nonz ideas. So like it may be that, but this is literally, this is the start to like all that shit happens. This literally, and it's called Bayside. So this is me, Mr. Enter, Special Edward, you know, maybe his name would be Sabino Knock, maybe Sabino Knock, or I don't know, but freaking, they're based off, you know, everything, you know, and the Baka and Test niggas, like, this is all based off that universe. This is, you know, Nonz, you know, Bayside.